So, hello, Mike Dooley.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, I'm delighted to be having this conversation with you. I'm Sarah Rozenthuler, and I'm very excited to be talking with you. I'm a big fan of your work.
Thank you very much.
I receive your notes from the universe, and I've read previous books that you've written, and you've got a new book coming out, and I'd love to ask you some questions about that.
The top 10 things dead people want to tell you.
Fantastic. So what was the inspiration for writing this book?
It came about unintentionally as a note from the universe 2 years ago. You know, I write a new note every day, have done so for about 12 years now. And there was a quick thought that flew through my head like, yeah, that's what somebody dead would want you to know. You know, somebody who's on the other side, who can see what we can't see. You know, the inside track, so to speak. And it became kind of a no-brainer that there's a place for this book as the material continued to evolve, when you believe, as do 92% of all people polled, that we survive the demise of our physical body. And so if we survive, as I also believe, and intact, and not just meld back into God consciousness, but retaining our personality, our sense of humor, perhaps with an enhanced perspective, it would be kind of obvious that they do in fact want to reach us. First and foremost, to tell us they're not dead, that everything is awesome, life is beautiful. Now they get what they didn't get while they were on earth, but they see that it's still our turn, so to speak. So once they've hopefully allayed our grieving, they can then tell us how to get our groove on and enjoy what remains of each of our lives. And hence, there followed 10 things that the dead want to tell us. And I was really charmed and thrilled when I saw it became a really popular note 2 years ago. It was shared on blogs all over the world. And a great talking point, somewhat contentious. The religious folks were like, oh, there is a devil. Oh, there is a hell, you better believe me. And just watching it all happen, and I would think then this would be a really cool book.
Mm-hmm. And lovely that it came from an inspiration of notes from the universe, and you followed that impulse.
Yeah, it took 2 years, but I followed it.
And can you give us a sense of what some of the messages might be from that inside track?
First and foremost is, you know, that being dead totally rocks. But they were ready. However contrary to appearances it very likely seemed, particularly if they were in their youth, they were not elderly. It always seems like such a horrible travesty, with many lost opportunities when a life ends earlier than others would have expected. So they really want to convey that, like, there was no accident, no matter how it appeared, no matter how strange, bizarre, unpredictable. You know, there are no accidents. And so I lay out the logistics of all manifestations, including our transition, in the book to illustrate there are no accidents. They also want everyone to know that life is supremely fair, even when circumstances are not. And so there's a whole chapter going into how it is that we create, sometimes unintentionally, things that don't seem to serve us. And then, of course, the angle is that everything serves us. Everything that happens, everything that doesn't happen in time and space makes us more. One of the beauties of life, it's win-win, win-win, all the way around. They want to tell us that our dreams can come true. It's up to us, however, that there's no other agenda. They give us the steps to take to make our dreams come true. The thoughts become things. Take action. Show up with the baby steps. Some want to apologize for bruised damages, bruised bodies, bruised whatever they bruised. And that's explained in a much higher light than simply sorry. But we also talk about guilt and blame and victimhood and those kind of things in their proper light, because to my way of thinking, there are the term victim and blame and guilt are misused to a degree that I think our vocabulary could do very well without them, because there's no such thing as any of that. In fact, forgiveness is impossible and irrelevant if there's not first blame. Mm-hmm. Now, many would say, but the blame was deserved. He was a monster. And so I go into those angles, very, very, very touchy, potentially abrasive and insulting material, but people deserve the truth. And as the book says, there is nothing more empowering than knowing the truth. And there is nothing more debilitating in the entire human experience than not knowing the truth. So the book is an attempt to convey lots and lots of truth.
Lots and lots of truth, a broad range of messages. Your dreams can come true, life rocks, life is fair. And I'm wondering if there are any particular beliefs that you're looking to shift in people through this material, because I know in your earlier work you've talked about changing beliefs and how beliefs, the relationship between beliefs and thoughts. So are you looking to change any particular beliefs?
Yes, but I wouldn't choose those words necessarily myself, because in that light, as you've asked it, you know, you can believe this or you can believe that. And I'm like all about, look, there's a truth. There's a truth to everything. And I am not one who says everyone has their own truth, because there goes all of your power. There may be an infinite number of roads to Rome, but none of them change Rome. And so I'm all about everyone has a different way to truth. Everyone is on a different journey that needs to be respected by all. But there are not different truths. Truth is absolute. It's very simple. We are creators. We are divine. We are powerful. And we are powerful through our thoughts, our words, and of course, our actions. So I view this work as I view all of my work, and that is to get people to drill down for themselves with the tools that I offer to uncover the truth, because it exists, it's objective, it's reachable, it's knowable, and nothing will help anyone more than discovering it for themselves. So then they can choose the beliefs they want. Then they can choose the approach they want to creating change. And my main theme in all of my work is living deliberately. Then they have the resources, the empowerment, the traction, the permission to blast forward like they've never blasted forward before, truth in hand.
Yeah, so I get that your work is around helping people to manifest the life of their dreams, because we are all, as you say, creators, co-creators.
Exactly
in
that.
This world.
You know, waking up to what is. And all of our lives are a testimony to our supernatural powers of creation, manifestation, and I love to add of late, the other obvious that everyone sees right through, our own inclination to succeed. Thoughts become things, and that sends some people into a tailspin because they were worried and they were negative and they have regret, and sometimes they're depressed and, oh, this is the end of times because I'm not a positive person, so that doesn't do me any good. It's like, in spite of the pity parties, in spite of sometimes nonstop worrying, you can still live deliberately because of our inclination, our inborn ability to prevail. And our lives are proof of this in the simplest of ways. We tend to think that life is 50-50, survival of the fittest, maybe yes, maybe no, everybody wants it, what are my chances of getting it? My odds are really low. It's like, wait, okay. Have you not, I ask my audiences, every single one of you here smiled way more than frowned, laughed way more than cried, had friends way more than been alone, clarity way more than been confused, money way more than been flat broke in the red negative, evidencing that we are these divine beings. The sun rises for us. We're not afterthoughts. We're not incidentals. We don't just happen to be in the picture, which doesn't mean we don't have reverence for all life and creation. But let's just see what's going on here. We are just blowing the lid off of survival in every step of the way, even at this primitive juncture in our spirituality where most people's heads are in the sand. And most people think God's an old white man who's really grumpy that put us here to test us, judge us, and sentence us. And in spite of those rather insane beliefs, look at our space stations and DNA technology and computers and smartphones and the cooperation that exists the world over in the majority of countries which are all peaceful. It's like we're just rocking it. And so when you take that inclination to succeed as a truth, self-evident by virtually every single life, then all of a sudden it's easier to get on board with this is a cool place and I am powerful, and then we can get out of our own way and really begin living deliberately. And it takes so little. It just takes the truth, which is what I'm here to share.
That's what you're all about. And I'm hearing you say that we can, by looking at the laughter and the abundance that we already have and have experienced, it's that principle of what you focus on expands.
Exactly.
And that can help us to live life more deliberately, as you would say.
So what we think about expands, what we think about we bring about. This is all thoughts becoming things, and it's already been turned on inside of all of us. We just have to realize that.
And it works the same for all of us.
Who you are, no matter where you've been, no matter what your trespass is, you are adored and you're pushed on to greatness every day.
I must say, I love it when I get to the end of one of your notes from the universe and it says, you are adored. It's like, oh, that's lovely. And so I'm thinking about people who might be sort of just getting started with their spiritual journey. Maybe they've had a more recent awakening, and you write about aligning our thoughts, words and deeds in order to get life to take off. And sometimes manifesting things does take a while. And I'm wondering whether you've got a word of encouragement for people who are just sort of setting out on their journey, and maybe it's not all changing as quickly as they might like.
It took decades for things to really start rocking for me. But we do need to celebrate the few successes that we feel like we have had. Again, that'll expand. Gratitude journal's a great tool. Just every day write down 5 things you were pleased about for the day, and then you're focusing on what did work. Immerse yourself in truth, whether it's reading books along these lines or DVDs or attending conferences, and there are millions of people who totally get it, and we're all striving to get it even better and to incorporate it in every breath we take, me included. And so just patience, hang in there. There are a couple of nuances that to me, surprisingly, some people don't get right away when it comes to being a deliberate creator, which is what my normal one-day workshop is all about. I will share it with you, in just a few moments. Number one, you cannot ever manipulate someone else. Others are untouchable. As I am untouchable to others, they are untouchable by me. It's only when we agree to play along, in a good way or bad way, serving, self-serving, unserving way, we can look, and it seems like that's not true at the world around us. And it looks like there's victims. I can't address that in a nutshell, although I could address that with more time. But the bottom line here is thoughts become things. There is a law of attraction, but it's not going to make Trixie fall in love with you. Right. That doesn't mean you can't have love that doesn't blow your mind and change your world for the better forevermore. But it does mean you cannot say who it will be. You cannot. Your first choice might turn out to be that person, but chances are great it's not going to be that person. It'll be someone else. But just leave it open to the divine intelligence to find the right person at the right time for you. And then, meanwhile, get back to the here and now, enjoying who you already are, living as full a life as possible. 2 other areas that you can't tangle with. You can't know how your dream will come true. Don't even try to know how. Those I call the cursed hows. We think we have to know how we are going to live in abundance and find our soulmate and whatever it is we want to do. You can't know how. Brain's way too small. It was not designed to calculate the hows when there's 7 billion other co-creators on this beautiful bastion of perfection floating in space. 7 billion other co-creators, and we have 60,000 thoughts and fears and dreams that are all jockeying for their place. place. So the best you can do is imagine the end result. You know, you're a successful salesperson, writer, you're accomplished, you're living pain-free, you're surrounded by adoring friends, you have great places to travel to, fabulous vacations, you're of service, you're helping, you're donating, you're volunteering, you know, whatever it is for any listener right now. Hold the end result in mind. Visualize it once a day for 4 or 5 minutes. That's it. And then try to physically move in that direction, knocking on different doors. Try writing, try editing, try proofing, try teaching, try sales, try this. Don't insist on any one being it, because that'll turn that possibility into a cursed how, and you will carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, and you will eliminate the universe's opportunity to reach you through other means if you've insisted on one path. So don't mess with the hows. That doesn't mean don't take action. Take massive action in a lot of directions. Just don't insist that this must be it because the universe loves me and my thoughts become things. And then the third and final one, don't mess with the who's, don't mess with the hows, and don't mess with unimportant details. Consider this: all details are unimportant. They are a dime a dozen. You could make a list of 500 details that would thrill you in your dream life, and then chuck it into the fireplace and start over with a brand new list of 500 new ones that would equally thrill you. And you don't even know the details that the universe knows, the divine mind knows, that would thrill you even more than your own details. But as soon as you start insisting on certain bells or whistles, which doesn't mean don't visualize them, but just be open to even better. As soon as you insist, you exclude other possibilities, and you don't ever want to exclude other possibilities. And these three nuances are what I spend a whole day on teaching about, navigating in and out of, which is rather effortless to do, that are often the cause of people spinning their wheels, losing traction, feeling like it doesn't work, or it worked one day but it doesn't work the next day, or it works on the third day but you so wished it hadn't. All of those hit or misses drive us crazy, can break our heart. So broaden the spectrum, open up yourself to surprises, to the unexpected. Continue dreaming, continue visualizing details. Just don't say it has to be, you know, a red Fiat Spider. You know, maybe a red Ferrari is just as cool, or a red E-Type Jag, whatever. Don't attach. Just don't attach to almost anything other than your happiness, your success, abundance, love, friendship. Those things you can insist on. But anything that you think will be dependent to get you there, that's what you don't attach to.
Right. I appreciate you sharing those three nuances, and as you say, the cursed hows, and for us not to get obsessed about the details of these things.
The details will show up. There's always going to be details, and there will always be specific people who do show up. Enjoy them, celebrate them. But when you set out to find them, don't insist that they be X, Y, and Z, Tom, Joe, or Mary.
Right. And learning from your own life lived, I appreciate that you've written about how at one point you could have thought your own life was a train wreck, but actually with the benefit of hindsight and the wider wisdom that you have, you'd say it was changing tracks, I think, is the way that you put it.
Thank you very much.
And I'm just wondering, like, how that shift in perspective from train wreck to change tracks, which I think many of us could probably relate to or like to get to, like, how long did
Every single setback of every single life is always a setup for greatness, setup for even better. But in the midst of the seeming train wreck, the carnage is so awful, the noise is deafening, your heart is shattered in a million pieces. I always tell those I speak to on this topic, don't even try to explain it. Doesn't matter. It's serving its purpose. The gifts will become clear in time. For now, what's important is not figuring out how you got where you are, but figuring out where you want to get to from here. Cast your eye to the future. Build or create in your mind or on a paper or with vision board the new end result, the new vision, the new you. And know that as soon as you do that, he or she is living and breathing, and it's being pressed to you. That life is being pressed to you. You'll never experience it if you don't get off your butt and off the couch and leave your vision board behind from time to time. So once you've created that vision, step 2 of the 2-step process, number 1 is have the end result clear in your mind. Step 2 is show up, do something about it, which is hard after a seeming train wreck. You don't know where to begin. You might not have any peers. You're starting all over. You're dating at age 40 or 50 or whatever it is, and you haven't dated for decades. But it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you do something, do anything, and there's no wrong turn. And I share this in my GPS analogy with virtually every audience. GPS digital navigation is almost spot on, identical to deliberate living. It all begins with you deciding where you want to go. You have to have a destination. The system knows where you're starting at. The universe knows where you are today. But you've got to decide the end result. Don't let it be a specific person, a cursed how, or an unimportant detail, but abundance, laughter, friends, clarity, a rocking career. That's enough for the universe to go on. And then, after you've programmed GPS with your end result, you have to put your car in gear. Even when, and this is almost always true after a train wreck, even when you don't know how to get there, you still have to go. Put your car in gear because the whole system is wired to not help you if your car is in park. Yeah. Right? It's because you're contradicting yourself. I want this, I see it, I'm dreaming of it. Oh, I guess not. If you're just sitting there on the couch waiting for Oprah to call, or Sarah, you have to do something, do anything. These are, therefore, the baby steps. They always seem futile. They always seem insufficient. And that's being politically correct. They seem sucky. They're miserable. They're pathetic. Go to the mall. Take that job for an hourly rate that you detest. It's better than sitting at home doing nothing. And that's not to say that you'll stay there, but it's going to get you out into the world because the only place the ship of your dreams will never find you is at home waiting for it. Meanwhile, at the bowling alley or in line at McDonald's or wherever you may be, now you're reachable. So do something every day and to really put yourself in position of being caught by the wind to the best of your seemingly feeble ability. Because it always seems like that, particularly after a train wreck. Move in the general direction of your dream. If it's abundance, move towards creating abundance. Get a job, or start an investment account, or talk to somebody about how they started in their own career. Go to trade fairs, go to events or conferences, ask for help, mix and mingle. Now you're reachable. You know, and certain opportunities will appear, and I always tell my audience, choose the least sucky, because I know at first they all suck. And then now you're even more reachable. And that, again, that doesn't mean choose a sucky option and stay there, but choose it and master it and be good, and people are going to see this, and you're going to have more opportunities, lateral opportunities, vertical opportunities, and the next thing you know, your life will have taken off.
So if I can bring in another principle from your work, which I love, the principle of master what's in front of you, I'm curious about what's in front of you. What's next for you on your journey?
You know, when I emerged from my train wreck, seeming train wreck, 14 years ago now, I remember it was the first time I ever got general. And I stopped messing with the cursed hows, unimportant details, specific people. I remember thinking, I want to be happy. I want to live in abundance. I want to travel internationally. I want to have creative, fulfilling work, friends, and laughter. And that's still what I want. And that's probably never, ever going to change. And so what do I master? Everything is important. Everything I give my full attention to the best of my ability. So career-wise, I guess you could say more of the same. I'm a teacher, and I've reached a point or a plateau where it gets easier, and to all of your listeners, it gets easier and it gets easier. And I'm not prone to or safeguarded from setbacks, and you know, I can't see exactly what's around the corner, even though I'm a creator of it. And sometimes it takes a step back to have 2 steps forward. So, you know, I don't know what's around the corner, but it does get much, much, much easier. So as a teacher, I want to teach and I want to reach as many people as want to hear me. And on a personal front, I'm a first-time dad, and so I want to master that. I want to be there. I want to be my best. I want to be there for my daughter and be part of her adventure and as helpful and loving a way as any parent could possibly be. Like all parents, that's what I want to do.
Well, that feels like well, congratulations, and that feels like a really good note to end on. So thank you very much indeed, Mike.
Thanks, Sarah. It was a pleasure.
Likewise.